this thing goes live. Oh, there we go. Sup, ladies and gentlemen, Akalon here, and welcome back to each and one of you. Of course, if you're new here, remember to slap that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, come join us over on Twitch. It is always more fun watching it live. Always. Without fail. Because you get to influence the conversation, you get to influence the topics that we want to dive into. So, definitely the best place to be is live on Twitch. Just waiting for some notifications to go out, waiting for people to start filtering in. We'll see. Yesterday was a fun fucking stream. I had a blast yesterday. Like I've been wanting to play Final Fantasy for such a fucking for 2 weeks now. I've been constantly threatening to play Final Fantasy. Pito, how you doing? So, Fat Man, how are you? I am very good. Thank you very much for asking, Pito. Of course, on a journey to no longer be fat. Enoch, how you doing, brother? So, maybe, who knows, in about 6 months, 8 months from now, I will no longer be the fat man. The Fat Fuckers Club will stay, but, you know, there is always a chance. Pito, how you doing, bro? Elodie, how you doing, brother? I legitimately, Moni, how you doing? Good morning. I legitimately woke up like an hour ago. So this is my first coffee. Usually I sit down for my second coffee, but I completely overslept. I'll have to change my greeting. Oh no, I don't think so. There's a fat kid inside everyone. Ziang, how you doing, brother? Oh my god. Calcinator, how you doing? Or Calcinator. Sorry, I always say your name incorrectly, but I think you should change your name to Calcinator. It flows better. How's everyone doing? It's good to see everyone coming back in. Diffin, how you doing, brother? Show on Monday was really good. I'm happy to hear that, Diffin. I'm very happy to hear that. I enjoyed the Shill Show on a Monday, so much so that I'm starting to think maybe I should just move the Shill Show to Mondays. Yaku will go from calling himself a fat cunt to showing his booty hole. Mr. Smoking, that's definitely not happening. They 100%, 155% that will not be happening. It's just never happening. I have no interest in having an OnlyFans ever. There is just, I don't see how I would ever sit down and take pictures of myself in that way. Chat stream of Final Fantasy. Matt and a Yak, how you doing, brother? Chat first, but Final Fantasy also. I'm sort of I'm in two mindsets. It's why this is why the stream is titled Big Brain Time, because I don't know. It occurs to me that a lot of my viewers watched me play video games. Wake Up Norman, how you doing, brother? First time I made it to the start of a stream. Bro, I'm proud of you. Thank you for joining us. Most of my viewers never saw A Realm Reborn, and I saw that about 3 or 4 times yesterday, where some of the viewers went, I wish I knew. I wish I knew what the fuck you were doing. Like, I wish I understood what this is. And listen to music, no offense, I can't stand the game. Matiniak, that's perfectly fine. I realize that there are people that can't stand the game, but believe me, if you were able to make it, and that's why I'm probably going to start over. I'm going to start a brand new character, replay A Realm Reborn, because I think once the story grips you, there's no way that you hate that game. No way. There's not a single person that can hate that game once that story grabs them, because that story is what makes the game. If you're someone that cares about lore, holy fuck, does Final Fantasy treat you? So I'm sort of in two minds. I don't know what to do. Do I continue with Heavensward because I want to play Heavensward, or do I start playing or replaying A Realm Reborn MSQ? Because I also think I missed a bunch of things in A Realm Reborn when I first started playing, because in the beginning I was paying attention to the story, but fucking very limited. I was sort of skipping over most of it. Forgotten One, how you doing, bro? Hoodie, I don't know how you can say the story is still, because at level 40 the story should have already picked up. The story picks up around level, I'd say 15 to 20. As soon as you get invited into the Science of the Seventh Dawn, that's where the story really fucking picks up. What you want is something new? Kenny, I'm not sure yet. Are you at the level 40 main story, though? Yeah, that's probably a good question. How did you get to level 40? Are you doing side quests of any kind? You shouldn't be doing that. That would be fucking stupid. Because then it means you're basically... Like, your main storyline is probably lagging behind like fucking crazy. You should try and stick to the main storyline as much as possible. Ignore all of the side quests. Side quests are completely unnecessary. The only time you need side quests is like the very few first levels. There's a point where you need to continue with your class storyline, but you need to get to level 5 in order to continue the class storyline. So you kind of have to do a couple of side quests, but that's about it. Can't even get into that. I'm happy for you all, but man, I tried to play it and just couldn't get past the aesthetic of the game. It's interesting to me that the people mind the aesthetic of the game, because I can play any game, right? I don't care about graphics. I care about story. That's it. I do not give a fuck about what the game looks like. A game can look like absolute ass, and I will still play it if there's a great story behind it. The problem for me is usually when the story sucks. I don't give a fuck how good. I don't give a fuck how good your game is. Like, your game can look absolutely pristine. If there's no story or the story sucks, I'm out. No interest in doing that. I prefer to see it from the start, but I also probably can't say for all today. I have shortfall crops to plant this morning. It's something I'd go back and watch. The hell is shortfall crops? Shay, how you doing? I don't know what that is, though. What the fuck is that? Midkota, how you doing, brother? I think people should... Damn dude is a real farmer. I am not a real farmer, though. Shay is. I'm not. My dad is. I am legitimately... It's literally just me and my younger brother, like one of the twins. We're the only sort of people that would not survive on a farm. Like, all of my other brothers in my family are very much farm folk. I'm one of the only people that I would die on a farm. Foul Smoke, how you doing, brother? I think it's called The Unending Story in your in-room. Could be an option. The Unending... What? Been raging... Was that to me? I don't know what does that mean even? The Unending Story in your in-room. I don't know what that is. I do have a WoW theory for you guys today before we get into the Final Fantasy stuff. We'll get into that in about 20 minutes or so. Just waiting for the peeps to fucking arrive. I think it replays all the scenes, Echo. Oh, right. Canny Ass, thank you for the gifted sub. Did really appreciate that. Thank you. With some love and chat for Canny Ass. Every single time someone gifts a sub, you guys should thank them. That is insane. People taking their own money to gift subs. That's fucking cool. We had a family farm. I honestly just spent most of my time with my donkey. I'm not a crop grower. I don't like farms. I find them... Okay, so first and foremost, farms are completely infested with everything that scares me, right? Insects, spiders, snakes. Farms are bad. Everything that I hate is on farms. They smell bad. Because most people have cattle on their farm, and cattle fucking stink. They taste delicious, but they stink. And also... The boredom is unrealistic. Like, you cannot imagine the amount of boredom that a farm provides. Wake up, Norman. Cowgirls, yes. That's probably the one. But now I should say, in South Africa, the cowgirls are not cowgirls. In South Africa, it's that fantasy does not ring true in South Africa. King Julian, thank you very much for the what's up, dude. Really appreciate that. 21 months in a row. Thank you, thank you, thank you. King Julian, how you doing, brother? It has been a while. I don't have any livestock, suburban farm, but I love donkeys so much. My dad's got cows, sheep, goats, and something else. I can't remember what else.
It is dark, but this is what I would write. Eventually the Void frees Anduin for their own goal. Then he returns to Stormwind, and faced a political storm where Turalyon and the Stormwind nobles want to replace him. Anduin then unleashes the power of domination and Void, which he has now turned both into his own weapon, and dominates the will of Turalyon and nobles of Stormwind. Then he raises undead armies to burn the Vindicator. This leads to more like creatures invading Azeroth.
Zigzags, thank you very much for the 50 bits, dude. Really appreciate that. Very interesting concept. A couple of issues with the concept. First and foremost, do we believe that a mortal can truly, shall we say, master domination magic? Considering domination magic seems to be a magic of the Eternal Ones, it would be quite the spectacle if a mortal was able to learn how to wield domination magic without the help of the Maw. Now, with that being said, there's nothing that states that Anduin has to lose Shalamon, right? Nothing that states that Anduin has to lose Shalamon. And as long as he has Shalamon, he has a chance of becoming the next quote-unquote Lich King, if you will. Dragon Sphere, human capacity for greatness? Pretty sure they could. Holy shit, I'd love to see Anduin do that, but the folks at Blizzard ain't got the talent to write it. Kingsmourn? What's that? Oh, you mean the name that they gave it wrongly? The wrong name that they gave for the sword. Yeah, fuck that. I will never call Shalamon Kingsmourn. Shalamon, it was such a missed opportunity. This is the fucking writing quality of Blizzard. Hey, we've got a sword. What should we name the sword? I know. Let's call it Kingsmourn. Bro, Shalamon's right there. It's fucking right there. You could call it Shalamon and it would be fucking awesome. But no, we have to call it Kingsmourn. Like, who gives a fuck about Kingsmourn? That doesn't even mean anything. I have an answer to your Sylvanas video. Guilty or not? Clearly guilty. Did you not play BFA after every atrocity she has done? There is no way she can be innocent. King Julian, did you listen to what I said in the video? Because it doesn't matter what she did in BFA if you take into account what happened to her. This is where I say, if you are willing to forgive Uther for the things that Uther did, which arguably is far worse than Sylvanas, allow me to explain. Every single person that Uther killed, every single one is permadeath. They're not just moved into the Shadowlands where they continue their lives. They are dead forever. When you die in the Shadowlands, you are dead. Uther killed thousands of Kyrian in his quest for the Forsworn. But Uther has been forgiven because Uther wasn't himself. He was missing a massive portion of his own soul. That's the point I was making with the video. We know that Sylvanas is guilty based on her actions. The question is, was she in the right state of mind when she committed those actions, right? That's the question. Because we ask this question even in law, right? Even in real life. If you go stand trial, one of the first questions that has to be answered is, were you, and that's usually one of the first burdens on the prosecution. Prosecution has to prove that you were in the right state of mind when you committed the murder, right? If at any point you can prove that you weren't, so you had a temporary bout of insanity or whatever the fuck might be, you get off. Because we don't believe in punishing people for doing something that they had no control over, right? And there's been countless times in history where people got off scot-free effectively because of these temporary bouts of insanity or whatever the fuck. So that's the question: is she guilty or not, based on what she went through? I'm not saying, as far as I'm concerned, personal opinion time, I don't think so. I don't think that you can convict the new Sylvanas for what was done by the old Sylvanas, because in my mind, you are effectively convicting an innocent person. Remember, the part of Sylvanas that was locked inside Frostmourne, the part of Sylvanas that the jailer gave back to her right at the end, that part had fuck all to do with any of those atrocities. That she didn't do anything. The Ranger General of Silvermoon did nothing. Nothing. She burnt no trees, she killed no people, she started no wars. If we listen to the words of the Winter Queen, right? The Winter Queen calls Sylvanas an empty soul. So we can argue, if we're gonna sort of give percentages to it, Sylvanas was about 10% of her soul capacity. That means 90% of Sylvanas, right? 90% of Sylvanas was locked away. Wasn't part of those atrocities. Didn't do those things, right? So you are basically convicting a complete innocent person of something that they didn't do. They have memory that they did this because a part of their soul did it, but they themselves weren't there, right? They weren't there. So are we okay with convicting a complete innocent person for the crimes that was committed by a portion of that soul, right? I think a very large crowd isn't going to care about that because of an internal need to see someone punished. Zentorio, that is the problem. Most people will allow their hatred for Sylvanas to get the better of them. Sylvanas lost a part of herself the day Arthas took her life, and the darkness within her grew to fill the void. Yeah, in my opinion, that says all we need to know for the question of guilt. Ziang, I agree. Generally, it seems like people want someone to pay for what happened, and I don't know who else they can target. I've been thinking about it. The way it's written, whole Sylvanas is innocent, but it doesn't make it good writing. Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. At no point here am I sitting here pretending that this is good story writing. I am simply going off of the story that we have, right? I am not saying that, hey, let's praise Blizzard for their amazing storytelling. No. Because it's not amazing storytelling. It's just storytelling. But they've missed the mark on so many different things, and it started quite a bit earlier. The answer now, that she is whole. How does she judge herself? I think, Anchovy, how you doing, bro? I think Sylvanas is in a lot of pain right now. I think if we were to see a cutscene of Sylvanas, she is thinking probably about killing herself at this point. Remember, because she's now living with the atrocities of more than a decade. Things that Sylvanas did that she didn't know she was doing, but now she knows that this is what she was doing. So she is beating herself up. Imagine you wake up one morning. You have memory that you killed someone in the most horrid fashion, but you don't know how. You don't know how you killed them. You don't know how you brought yourself to killing them. You just did it, right? How do you marry that? How do you go on from that moment moving forward, right? Doesn't matter that she is innocent. Now, at the end of the day, she still did those acts in her own body, regardless if she had control or not. She must be punished, because at the end of the day, Ranger General or not, she still committed the atrocities. King Julian, I do not follow. In her own body? So, fuck your mind, fuck who you are. You committed the atrocities. She didn't. That's what you're completely missing here. Sylvanas did not commit those atrocities. Sylvanas did not commit those fucking atrocities. Yes, it was her body, but that's it. That's literally the end of it. It was her body. Her mind was locked the fuck away. It had zero influence on anything that was happening. It's zero influence on anything that fucking happened. Sylvanas, the Ranger General, did not commit those atrocities, bro. I do not agree with you. I think at this point, it's okay if you say, I just want her to pay because I hate Sylvanas. That's fine, right? Because we're throwing all rationality and all sort of thought to the wind, and we're saying, fuck that, I don't care about that. I just want the bitch to pay. Great, fine, no problem. But there's no way you can justify it. If Sylvanas is killed for her actions, you cannot justify those actions. You can't. Because right now, at this very moment, if you punished Sylvanas, you are punishing an innocent. Chicken Man, how you doing, bro? Chicken Man, the truth is, she also, she had no, like, it wasn't her fault that she didn't have control, right? She was effectively fucked by other forces, which makes sense why she wants to bring it all down, right? Johnny R, how you doing, brother? Blades, I missed your earlier message. I do apologize. If you want to repost that, please. Imagine you had a microchip put in your head that inhibits empathy, and you went on a major crime bender because of it. Well, the way I describe it is, imagine the following, right? You are in a car crash. In the car crash, you suffer incredible brain damage, right? So the part of your brain that sort of governs empathy, sympathy, emotions, that part gets severely damaged, right? To the point where it effectively turns you into a sociopath, right? So you have no empathy, no sympathy, no emotions really whatsoever. You are no longer really a person, if that makes sense.
So I would say that yes, the terrible part of Sylvanas did all those crimes, but that person has ceased to exist. Now the thing that occupying Sylvanas' body is a different entity, which is innocent. We cannot convict the person who did all those because that person now no longer exists, and we cannot convict someone that does not even exist. We cannot commit the new Sylvanas either because she is innocent.
I agree, but I agree with Blades here as well. Sylvanas will sentence herself. I don't think you need to have a trial even. Sylvanas will most likely remove herself from the world, at least for a time. I can guarantee you the Ranger General, who Sylvanas was in life, nothing that the old Sylvanas did would ever sit right with her. She wouldn't be able to forgive herself for it. Have you thought of Sam Winchester in relation to the Sylvanas situation? I think actually, the Grey, that's a fucking brilliant analogy. So Sam Winchester, for those of you that don't know, in Supernatural, Sam Winchester, this is actually something that could make a good clip, so we'll talk about that. So I genuinely believe that the Grey, thank you very much for that. I saw people were talking about Supernatural, but I genuinely did not understand why. Okay, so for those of you that want the perfect analogy for who Sylvanas is right now, we can look to Sam Winchester in Supernatural. In Supernatural, Sam Winchester was chosen at birth, right? He was chosen by the yellow-eyed demon. What was his name again? Azazel? No, it wasn't Azazel. What was the yellow-eyed... Was the yellow-eyed demon Azazel? Yeah, I think... No, Michael was the angel. That's for Dean. The yellow-eyed demon wasn't Michael. Michael is one of the archangels. I think it's Azazel. But okay, anyways, fuck it. We're getting sidetracked here. So Azazel at birth feeds Sam Winchester some of his blood, right? Now Sam Winchester later on starts to discover some very interesting powers that he has because of this demon blood that he was fed.
I suddenly have a new idea. Considering that we now have King's Morn, Sylvanas may want to use that Morn blade to kill herself again, thereby splitting her soul again, and the good part convicts and kills the bad part.
We'll see about that. Zigzags, I'll answer that in a minute. But okay, so Sam Winchester then meets this demon called Ruby, right? He doesn't know that Ruby is a demon at the beginning. Eventually finds out. Ruby tells him that she wants to stop Azazel. She wants to stop Hell from rising up and basically destroying the world. But in order to stop them, Sam has to better his powers. His powers was given to him to basically help stop the destruction of the universe, right? That's why he has these powers. The problem is, the more Sam uses his powers, the more Sam starts losing himself. The demonic side of Sam Winchester starts taking over, slowly but surely. eventually Sam turns into the perfect vessel for Lucifer, right? He eventually turns into the perfect vessel for Lucifer. Is Sam guilty of the things that he did? And the answer in Supernatural, at least, is no. Because Sam was no longer Sam by the end of this. By the end of the road, Sam was no longer Sam. We can draw another example from the Supernatural universe. We can talk about Dean when Dean was possessed by Michael, the Archangel. Dean did a bunch of bad shit when he was possessed by Michael. The issue, of course, is it wasn't Dean. Yes, it was Dean's body, but it wasn't Dean. He didn't do those things. This is what I would say Sylvanas is going through. It's not Sylvanas that committed those crimes. It's a part of Sylvanas, but it's an incredibly small part of Sylvanas. It's a part that literally, according to the books, the only emotion, the only part of Sylvanas that remained was hatred. That's it. The rest of Sylvanas was sucked into Frostmourne and kept in a soul prison by Zuval. So, the issue with saying, fuck that bitch, she needs to pay, is you're convicting all of Sylvanas for something that hatred did. Because that's the only part of Sylvanas that remained. Sylvanas effectively underwent an entire personality change when she was stabbed by Arthas. She became an entirely new person. Now, let's not pretend that this is good writing, because it isn't. At least with Supernatural, we got to see, a hell of a build-up to the ultimate showdown. You're talking 5 fucking seasons of build-up before you got the ultimate showdown, right? In World of Warcraft, you didn't, and King Julian, now you just, King Julian, now you're just basically saying, okay, fuck it doesn't matter that you've been possessed by a demon, you're still guilty. Well, in that case, King Julian, I would argue, let's bring back guilt by association. Let's do what the North Koreans do. Because the fact of the matter is, yes, your father may have committed some crime, but you're just as guilty because you share his blood. So how about we lock you up, we lock your father up, we lock your mother up, we lock up 8 generations of people. We could do that, right? That would be justice in your world. Because in your world, doesn't matter if you didn't do it, your body did it, and therefore fuck you. That's not how it works, bro. You need to start looking past your hatred for Sylvanas because it's clouding your judgment. It's clouding your ability to think. Because I'm sorry, no. It's just not, no. Actually, very good fucking point there. What about Medivh? Do you like Medivh? Do you trust Medivh? Do you think Medivh is a good guy? Do you want to see Medivh back? I'll put to you that Medivh killed millions of people himself. Medivh, should we banish him too? He was possessed, same as Sylvanas. He had a part of Sargeras inside of him. So at the end of the day, I don't follow your logic. Your logic doesn't make sense to me because your logic literally is just a case of fuck that bitch, which I don't think is good. You guys are stealing my theory from 3 years ago. Mataniak, I do apologize for that. So my problem with the writing of this story is you see, Blizzard painted themselves into this corner with Sylvanas that sadly this is the only way out. If they do not wish to go and kill Sylvanas straight up, there's no other way for them out of this. And this is their fault 100%. 155 million times percentage points, this is Blizzard's fault. They wrote Sylvanas in such a way that she is nearly unforgivable. That she is nearly unforgivable. But King Julian, then you're just making my point for me. Because you're willing to forgive Medivh, who undoubtedly probably killed more people than Sylvanas ever did. And you're saying Medivh is different? I don't hate Medivh. So in other words, we should literally just kill people because we hate them. Fact of the matter is, this is horrible storytelling from Blizzard. And I believe that it's the result of the rule of cool. Blizzard just wanted to be cool. They just wanted cool moments. And what could be cooler than burn it? Burn it! That's a cool moment. Everyone's going, oh my god, she's burning the fucking tree. No! That's a cool moment. The issue is, no one at Blizzard said, hold on, guys. The fuck happens after that? She just committed genocide. How do we bring a character back from genocide? And the answer is fucking horribly, badly difficult, right? It is difficult to bring a character back from the brink of genocide. You can't, right? You're effectively asking people to forgive Hitler. And that's a very difficult ask. So, yeah, sure. Blizzard have done their due diligence to fix the story, and Sylvanas will survive on the technicality. The issue, of course, is that it is a bad technicality, and it should never have happened to begin with. It should never have happened in the first place. So I'll tell you what I would do if I was Blizzard. If I really wanted to go down this route, I would have changed the story entirely. But let's imagine that I wanted to also burn the tree. I would have made it an accident. I would have made it to where the Horde progresses through the broken shore, gets to the shore, and one of the soldiers screams fire, and they fire, and Sylvanas kills the soldier because that was never the plan, right? Because at that point, yes, genocide was committed, and yes, the story still makes sense, but at least now you have some way of redeeming Sylvanas, right? Like I said, that should not happen. That shouldn't be the story. If I wrote the story, it would have happened completely differently. But the point of this is now you've burnt the tree with Sylvanas yelling "burn it," and it's like, how do you forgive her from this moment forward? Oh, you make it so that her soul was split. Okay, we called the soul split in BFA already. But the fact of the matter is, it doesn't make it good storytelling. It just gives you a Deus Ex Machina feeling. And that's why so many people... Ray Blanc, thank you for the first time chat, though, by the way. Happy to have you here, bro. It just makes it so that more people can now get involved, right? And more people can sort of like the story. Versus now, where, yeah, sure, you've redeemed Sylvanas, but you've not convinced the vast majority of people that that was a good redemption arc, right? Or that that she should really be redeemed. And again, much of this could have been fixed. If Blizzard put more effort into the Compass cinematic, I think more people would have forgiven Sylvanas. Jonier, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. The Compass is such a missed opportunity. It's disgusting, is what it is. It's disgusting. Anduin they even set it up. Anduin asks her, so what do you think? Right? Is this what you went through when Arthas possessed you? Perfect moment for Sylvanas to have this giant fucking monologue about everything that she went through with Arthas with Arthas possessing her. Yes, young lion. That's it. That's her fucking answer. Okay. Brilliant job, Blizzard. Brilliant fucking job explaining to the people exactly why the fuck she committed all of those atrocities. We're all following now. We are all following now. It's insane. I need to show you guys this because the fuck am I doing? There we go. All right, so let me be very clear. This cinematic, whilst not one of the objectively worst cinematics Blizzard have ever made, is one of the most worthless cinematics Blizzard have ever made. Because it misses so many opportunities to do something so fucking well. Now, Blizzard missed the mark a long time ago when it came to Anduin and to Sylvanas. They missed the mark entirely. The problem is they never explained to the people, to the player base, why Sylvanas became what she became, right? That was never actually set up. Even in the books, I wish I could say that if you read Age of Night, you would understand something. If you read Arthas, you would understand something. The truth is, even if you read Age of Night, I read it, right? I read Arthas. Even if you read those, you still don't quite fucking understand. I'll give you an example of in the book where shit doesn't make sense. Sylvanas doesn't want to be war chief. She makes that very clear to Nathanos on 3 different occasions. She does not want to be war chief. Suddenly, she wants to be war chief. Not only does she want to be war chief, she now wants to be ruler of the world. She wants to destroy everything, and she wants to be the queen. Now, again, if we go to the visions of Anduin and Sylvanas, they basically saw the exact same thing, right? They basically saw the exact same thing. They saw peace. The difference is Anduin saw himself bringing peace and Sylvanas saw herself bringing peace. But peace is basically the outcome of what they do, right? That's how it's going to play out, at least according to the vision that Azeroth showed Sylvanas and Anduin. This cinematic screws up every chance that you have. Now imagine, the analogy that I would use here is, imagine if you have this perfect opportunity, the girl that you've always loved, the girl that you've always wanted to be with, she is the queen of your life, and you have this one moment to ask her out. She comes up to you and she asks you for a book or a pen or whatever. This is your moment. She's talking to you. All you have to do is go, will you have coffee with me? Right? And instead you go, I'd like to fuck you. And she goes, poof, and walks away. You just fucking blew it, bro. You just took the one chance you had and you blew it. Actually, a better analogy would probably be you're standing there and suddenly you cream yourself, right? Just from her talking to you, go, oh. And she's disgusted and she walks away and she asks someone else for a pen and they ask her out and you go, fuck, I should have been the one. This is that cinematic. You had the moment, you had the opportunity, you created the opportunity for yourself, and yet you did nothing about it. The opportunity just came and fucking went.
The battle is almost upon us. I will deal with the invading forces atop Torghast. When we reach Oribos, you will defend Zovol while he completes the ritual.
You mean he will compel me to defend him?
Up until this point, everything's fine. The cinematic is playing out as it should play out. I have no problems with this cinematic right now. Good job. Good job. Let's keep going. Let's dive a little bit deeper. You mean he will compel me to defend him? But how about we get some kind of information about that? Maybe Sylvanas explains to him why it's necessary to compel him. You know, I don't know. We could find something, I think, right? I think we could find a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit, you know, let's scratch the surface at least a little here. We don't, of course, but, you know, you'll see where things get really fucking bad.
Each time he dominates my will, I feel myself slipping further away.
All right.
Is this what you felt when Arthas raised you, Sylvanas?
And this is where the cinematic goes from, we're on the right path, we're getting there, fuck it, let's go off the cliff. This is it. This is the moment the cinematic made a hard left towards the fucking cliff. This is the moment where Sylvanas gets to rattle on for 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 minutes, explaining everything that she fucking went through, explaining all of the suffering, all of the shit that fucking happened. This is the moment, Denuser. This is your fucking moment. This is where you get to explain to the thousands and millions of fans that fucking hate this bitch, right, why they're wrong. Why they don't understand. This is the moment. And instead, what do you write, Steve?
Hollow. Empty. everything you once were, consumed by darkness.
Yes, young lion.
That's it. That's it. That's it. The only fucking words this guy can write is yes, young lion. That's the explanation. That's the fucking what? You're trying to make a cinematic. It's clear what Blizzard is trying to do here. They're trying to make a cinematic that sets up the redemption for Sylvanas. It's very fucking clear. That's what this is. It's called Anduin's Goodbye. This is not just about Anduin. It's clear what Blizzard wanted to do here. They wanted to set up the story for Sylvanas' redemption. Here's the fucking problem. Sylvanas goes from, yes, young lion, vulnerable moment. Sylvanas is vulnerable. Ooh, what's she gonna say next? Oh my fucking god, I can't wait. To immediately turning back into the bitch that most people don't fucking like. So in other words, the little emotion that you were sparking inside people, the small amount of people going, what's going on here? You guys having you guys having chocolate cake? What's this? I might be interested. Oh, never mind. It's eggs. I'll fucking leave. Right? That's it. What are you doing? What is this fucking story? Christ!
But in the end, the sacrifices we've made will have been worth it.
What sacrifices? Why is this not explained to the fucking player? Why am I not? Why are we not informed of what these sacrifices are? This is your fucking moment. Look, Danuser, you guys don't tell the story in the game. You fucking suck at telling the story in the game. You basically have two ways of telling the story, in books and in cinematics. This is your fucking medium. Why is there nothing there? Why is there nothing there? And now, yeah, I see a lot of people saying it's in the book, the book that comes out in February. Like, oh my fucking god. Again, we have the joy of buying another fucking $40 piece of shit just to find out what the game didn't tell us. Just to fucking, oh my, I'm getting angry again. I genuinely feel hatred and anger rising in me as this company keeps milking their loyal player base time and fucking time again. Oh, we can't give you the story right now. Go fuck yourself. You'll buy the book. Yes, but I bought the fucking game. I bought the game, Blizzard. I'm paying $15 a goddamn fucking month. I bought the game. Why can't I just get the fucking game? Why can't you just tell me the story in the game? No, but you have to buy the book. Go fuck yourself. Just tell it in the game. Why is this happening? Why am I paying $15 a fucking month, by the way, for 8 months of no content to get this, only to realize that this is an advertisement for the book that you're bringing out? In about a fucking year, we'll get a book that explains all of this shit, and you can go fuck yourself if you think we're putting it into the game. What is this? Do you think we run a charity over here? Is this a fucking charity? Of course we're gonna put it in the book. You fuckers pay $15 a month. You bought the fucking expansion for $40 a month, and you can go fuck yourself. You can go fuck yourself if you think you're gonna get the full experience in the game. There's no... What is this? I mean, what the actual cunt? I am sick and fucking tired of buying books. I'm sick and tired of waiting for cinematics that do not deliver. I'm sick and tired of not getting the story in the fucking game. Why is this happening every single goddamn time? And it's not like I'm telling Blizzard not to release books. There's things that they can tell in the book. For example, Chronicles. It is almost impossible to tell the story of Chronicles. It's almost fucking possible. Thank you very much for the donation. Really appreciate that. You can't... Okay, so Chronicles can't be told in the game. There's just no way, right? It's just no way. But this can be told in the fucking game. We can be informed of what Sylvanas is and what Sylvanas wishes to do in the goddamn fucking game. And instead, they just go, oh, if you want to know more, buy the book. Blizzard is literally an infomercial at this point. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. But wait, there's no... Fuck off, I don't want to wait anymore. Just give me the fucking story that I fucking paid for, Denuser. You stupid fucking bastard. Just put it in the fucking game. Fuck. Why? Why every single time? I don't get it. I don't get... Why is... Oh my Jesus, I'm getting... No, wait. I'll just fucking shut up. Let me just shut the fuck up because I cannot deal with this. Screw it. Just fucking screw it. I'm so over this bullshit. I cannot stand it anymore. It's every single fucking game, every single expansion. It's this broken mess where the vast majority of people do not understand the story. The vast majority of people don't have a fucking clue what's going on because Blizzard themselves seem to try and figure out where to put what so that they can increase their fucking profits. It's all just a profit game for these fucking people. Every single one of the people that work for Blizzard right now is just profit, 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 profit. They just think about profit, profit, profit. I don't even give a fuck anymore. And if Denuser isn't responsible for this shit, and if I'm being unfair to Denuser, then he needs to explain to me why his name is on every goddamn fucking book we read. He is responsible for it. I don't want to hear bullshit about, oh, Denuser can't make the decisions. Of fucking course he can. He's literally the lead narrative designer for World of Warcraft. He is the one who makes these fucking decisions. And Christy Golden shouldn't sit there and say, oh, I don't write the stories. Fuck you don't. You work for Blizzard. One of you needs to grow a fucking pair, speak up and say this isn't fair to our player base. Our players pay $15 a goddamn month for this shit. We should give them a little bit extra. How about we give them a little bit more? Like, what the actual fuck is this? But no. No. Instead, this is what we get. The only thing Sylvanas can rattle off in this fucking cinematic. By the way, want to let all of you know, you waited 9 months for this. How do you feel? Do you feel a little bit fucked? Did you know when Shadowlands first launched that you were sort of bending over already, gripping the table, pulling your pants down, opening your butt cheeks? Did you know? Were you aware that this was the moment that it was going to happen? Did you know that at some point a big fat cock was going to slam inside of you, and this is what it's going to be? Because that's exactly what this is. Hello, welcome to the fucking game. The best we can do for you is yes, young lion. Oh my fucking god, the writing is insane. I'm getting chills up and down my fucking spine from this writing. Fuck it. Let's just leave this cinematic. I will start screaming if I keep fucking going on about this cinematic. Fuck this cinematic, by the way. Fuck this cinematic. I am so pissed off, bro. I should write my own cinematic. I should write my own fucking cinematic. I should find. Me and Alex should work on a new Anduin's Goodbye cinematic, and we should find someone to do the voice for Sylvanas, and then do it properly. Is this what you felt, Sylvanas, when Arthas dominated you? And then for fucking the next minute or 2 or 3, Sylvanas rattles on about what exactly she fucking went through. This is unreal, bro. Unreal. But partly why I feel the way I do towards Sylvanas is how Blizz told her redemption story, and a really bad job of trying to make you have a sympathy with her. King Julian, that is the problem. That is the problem, right? The issue is that they didn't tell a believable redemption story. Let me just quickly, Pyromancer's rage. Pyro's rage was still far better than mine. Far better than what mine could ever be. Oh, the current state of WoW. Yeah. Thank you very much for the $5. I'd really appreciate that. And we'll give one. Can you type it again? Oh, there we go. Echo. if people want to convict Dark Lady for what she did when she wasn't herself, then they have punished Tyrande for every innocent she killed or hurt while under Elun's rage, except unlike Dark Lady, Tyrande begged Elun for the power. I would say it's similar. Definitely similar. Yes. Dark Savage, it doesn't matter that the story... Okay, so I hear this thing constantly happening, and it all comes from Taliesin, right? Now, no hate towards Taliesin. I don't care at all, right? But I will say this. It's the most... It's the hottest of hot takes for Taliesin to sit there and go, the story does make sense. It all depends on how it ends. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? In that, yes, all stories make sense. It just depends on how it ends, right? You can do that with any story. That is a very hot take, but also a very poor fucking take. It doesn't matter that yes, how it ends will explain some of the things, right? It explains some of the things, right? But the problem is, Dark Savage, I'm not necessarily pointing this to you. Because I've heard this a few times. You should go check my comment section on the videos where I say that the story doesn't make fucking sense. Because, yes, I've received multiple people that basically say, if you don't understand the story, go watch Taliesin. Like, sure, I'll go watch Taliesin for World of Warcraft lore speculation. Why not? Considering I've been doing lore speculation for about 3 years, and he's been doing it for what, since it became popular? Okay, I guess I'll jump on that fucking... I'll jump on that train. Why not? I don't need to watch anyone else for speculation. I can speculate just fine by myself. The thing that the problem that I have with that argument is it's cutting Blizzard way too much fucking slack. Because, yes, all stories make sense. The problem is you have to be able to take the character, the player, through the story. As a player, I need to be able to understand where the story is going. If I cannot understand where the story is going, then you did a bad job writing it. And I don't think that's me being too fucking nitpicky. If the character cannot understand the story, and the natural flow of the story, you failed. The storytelling team failed. And that's exactly what the storytelling team have been doing ever since fucking BFA. They've been failing over and over and over and over. Why have they been failing so much? Because they, and I genuinely believe this, the storytelling of World of Warcraft is far too fractured. Xeris, thank you for the follow, dude. Really appreciate that. Welcome to the channel. It's far too fractured. Because Blizzard has to keep stories for cinematics, they have to keep stories for the game, and they have to make stories for the books, and they have to make stories for the short stories. They miss half the fucking story because they have to keep all of these mediums alive. It's all one money-making scheme. This is what Blizzard have turned into. Blizzard is now just a slot machine. It's a slot machine. Blizzard have turned themselves into... actually, they've turned their player base into ATMs. That's it. The player base have turned into ATMs. We rock up in the game and we get bled dry for every fucking penny we have. And if they can figure out a new way to bleed us dry, they'll figure that out. You fucking believe me. If there's a new way to get money out of people, they'll implement it. Do not sell Blizzard short. They will fucking implement it. Because that's all they do. That is literally what every single one of their meetings is about. I guarantee you now. If you ever spend time... if you ever got to be a fly on the wall in one of Blizzard's meetings, you want to know why? Things like... so this is actually sort of a weird argument, and this is a lot of speculation. But have you guys ever asked yourself why the only part of the game that ever get any love is raiding and Mythic Plus? King Julian, right now, I would say they can go fuck themselves. I wouldn't work for a company like Blizzard. They are morally fucking bankrupt. The reason the only parts of the game that receive any love is Mythic Plus and raiding. It's because it's the only parts of the game that they can monetize. So you can't monetize casual play. PvP is too fucking hard. Too hard. You can't monetize it. Raiding and Mythic Plus can be monetized to fuck. People buy boosts all the time. How do they buy boosts? By dropping money in the cash shop to buy WoW tokens to get gold to buy boosts. You see, it's the monetized portion of the game. It's where Blizzard makes most of its money. And if you don't believe me, allow me to explain. About 3 years ago, there was a report in the gaming industry that showed that about 10% of gamers buy things from cash shops. 10% buy things from cash shops. 90% of people don't actually buy things from cash shops. However, that 10% equates for a third of all profits that companies make. A third of the revenue that gaming companies make come from 10% of the player base. Less than 10% actually. And then they figured out a very interesting trick. If you can monetize your game in such a way where the payers outscale the non-payers, that number increases. It goes from 10% to 20% to 30% to 40%. People are trying to keep up. More importantly, even if it stays at 10%, the revenue boost goes up to almost 50%. Since now there is an actual power level to be bought. Mythic Plus and raiding grants Blizzard power levels. They can sell power levels. They can sell it in the cash shop through the use of tokens. I can guarantee you right now, Blizzard's vast majority of money comes from the cash shop. It comes from the boosting. That's where Blizzard makes all of its money. So they don't give a fuck about you and me. You see, for the lore people, they can monetize us by selling us books, by keeping us engaged in the cinematics, by, basically selling us merch. That's where the lore comes in. That's where people really fucking buy into the lore. So we're monetizable, which means Blizzard spends a lot of time on the lore. They've recently grown their lore department by leaps and bounds, right? They spend a lot of money on the lore because the lore makes them a lot of money. They spend a lot of money on raiding and and Mythic Plus because that makes them a cunt ton of money as well. You want to know where Blizzard spends none of its money? Casuals. You, the casual, you can go fuck yourself. As far as Blizzard is concerned, you can go fuck yourself. You don't matter because they don't know how to monetize you. How do you monetize someone for casual content? It's not like it's absolutely fucking hard, right? It's not like it's the hardest thing in the world to do. You can't monetize casual play. So why would they spend time and money trying to develop for casual play? Simple economics. Of course, it's disgusting, and it's thievery. It's daylight robbery. And I do sometimes wonder if the average player or gamer is going to figure this out eventually. Look at the Chinese guilds buying transfers to get the top 100 fold pulled up so they can charge gold to sell mythic boosts. That's proven fact. Horst the Trucker, I have inside information from Blizzard's the accounting department that the cash shop is very healthy. Very, very healthy. I would say ESO is probably one of the best monetization features I've ever seen in a game ever. You see, because ESO is completely free to play with no pay to win elements whatsoever. When you pay in ESO, you pay for convenience, right? You don't pay to get you can't get skips or shit like that in the game, right? You can't buy skips. You can't pay for convenience. But here's what makes ESO, in my mind, the greatest monetized or the greatest cash shop in gaming. If you pay the subscription in ESO, so you pay the $14.99 per month for ESO, you get that equivalent in cash shop credit. Like, you get $14.99 worth of cash shop credit. So you can buy everything on the cash shop with your monthly subscription. I think that's insane. Because you're already paying the subscription. Why the fuck would you have to shell out more money for the cash shop? You see, in ESO, they say, well, if you don't pay the subscription, we would like you to buy these things from the cash shop so that we can continue making the game. But if you do pay the subscription, we don't want to double charge you. We'd be more than happy that you get your credits and you can buy everything you want from the cash shop. Host the Trucker, what I did with my ESO subscription, because I don't buy furniture or mounts or shit, I bought all of the extra stories from the cash shop so that it's unlocked for me, right? So even if I'm not paying my subscription, I still have those stories available. You see, Blizzard, I think, is the greediest of game companies right now. Activision Blizzard is far greedier than any other game company right now. Elodie, no. So, to explain this, you need to understand, they have these, so ESO works effectively as, they have their major expansion releases, and those are expansions that you buy, right? And then they have these sort of smaller DLCs, which open very specific standalone stories. It's like side quests, but it's like very interesting, sometimes very awesome side stories, right? That they release throughout the course of an expansion. So while you're playing the game, every few months they'll release a new DLC. I believe it's like every 3 months you get a brand new DLC from ESO, right? Now, those DLCs, they are in the cash shop. If you pay the subscription, the DLCs is DLCs, you get it. It's free. It's part of your subscription. If you don't pay the subscription, those DLCs need to be purchased from the cash shop. Doesn't mean that you have to buy them. You're not missing anything from the main storyline. You're still getting to max level. You can still do all of the dungeons and raids and stuff at max level. You just can't do these sort of particularly short side story quests that, well, some of them aren't even that short. They're just really cool story things. And it's just a way to incentivize people to pay the subscription, right? Trying to get people on the subscription model rather than having people play free-to-play. Blizzard's nothing else really going for them at this stage, so not surprised that they have to milk it for everything it's worth. Gary, and my problem with that is, do you think it will stop? Do you think that if we get to a point where Blizzard, finally, let's say Blizzard save, like, let's imagine, right, that Blizzard finally brings out 2 or 3 new games and those games do really well. Do you think Blizzard is going to go, okay, we can stop monetizing World of Warcraft to shit? I don't think so. Elodie, that's what I do. So the only time I pay my subscription for ESO is when a new DLC comes out. I'll pay the $14.99, I'll play the DLC, I'll have some fun with it, then I'll play for a month until my sub runs out, and then I go again. And then when a new expansion comes out, that's when I'll play again. Although I haven't played the newest expansions, I've sort of been on a break from ESO for a while. They would double down if game gets better? Oh yeah, definitely. What would the story be going forward in a world where you get brought on as lead writer tomorrow? So Zuval survives. Zuval survives the Shadowlands. We head back to Azeroth, and Zuval reaches the Sepulchre of the First Ones. The Sepulchre of the First Ones is Elunaria. That's where the sepulcher is located. While Zuval is there, we try everything in our power to stop him. We fight him off. We try to fight him off. We try to do something to save ourselves effectively. At the end of that expansion, and I would actually bring back everyone. I would bring the void into the fight. I would bring the light into the fight. So basically turn it into a massive free-for-all as the expansion builds to its inevitable end. But the expansion does end with Zuval triggering the reorigination of the universe. That would be, and then we start over. If I wrote the story for World of Warcraft, it starts over. Only this time, we start with Kalimdor. And the way I do that is Chromie. I use Chromie. I use the Bronze Dragonflight. At the moment that he triggers the domination, right, the reorigination, the Bronze Dragonflight takes us back in time to before all of this happened, to a point where hopefully we'll learn from our mistakes and we won't let this happen again. So basically, the timeline goes to shit. And we move to a new timeline. One where Kalimdor is still one place. That's all I can think of. There's a bunch of other ways that I could do it, and I've thought about a couple of other ways. The problem is, I don't know how I would tell those ways in the game to the point where it would make sense, right? Because I think you have to stick to tried and tested storylines, right? You have to stick to stuff that people would understand almost automatically. And I think a sort of reset of the timeline is what people would probably understand best. You won't get a lot of people that sort of completely lost and just do not have a fucking clue what's going on, right? I think anything else that you try to do will risk alienating a whole bunch of people. Now, I probably would fix the timeline issue, or at least I would fix the problem for players that still want stuff from the old world in a very interesting way. We discussed this last week a little. I would move all world mounts and all of the things that people really loved in the world. I would move those to dungeons and raids, right? And then I would allow the Bronze Dragonflight the ability to sort of move you to a dungeon in the future. So if you needed something, you could run all dungeons and sort of hope for the drops to come from all dungeons. That way, you don't have to maintain the whole of Azeroth, as it were, in a sort of bubble in time. Also, it provides just an interesting way for people to get some flashbacks to the old world and what the old world used to look. Oh, I guess the new world, because we're now back in the past. But I am also a little bit, I think I should be honest, I am a little bit biased in what I want to do. And the only reason I want to go back in time in World of Warcraft is I want to see the Black Empire. I would die if I got to see Azeroth when the Black Empire roamed. Like when it was the reign of the Black Empire, that would be the happiest day of my life. That would be where I would want to be. So that's why I would take World of Warcraft back to that, to the time where it was the Black Empire. 'Cause fuck, it would be cool, right? And it gives us a chance to see the origin stories of World of Warcraft. Xantorial, no. We would probably have, because of the time fix that we're implying, we would have all of the playable races that we have right now, right? Because the Bronze Dragonflight basically teleported all of us back, right? And then the starting experience, by the way, for new players would be Future WoW. You start with a story. Seven Raven, how you doing? You start with a story seeing how Zuval unmade the universe. And then at the moment that he unmakes it, you get teleported back in time. That's the starting area for all classes. They get to see how their world... And by the way, every class would... I would write a story for every race. So that you... Say you play an orc. Your starting experience is the final moments of the Orc Empire. Say you play a Blood Elf or a human. Your tutorial, your first sort of... is the final moments of Stormwind, the final moments of Ironforge, the final moments of Silvermoon, trying desperately to save your home, but also the world, and failing, and then getting sent back to New Kalimdor, Land of Eternal Stars, and now you're in this brand new Azeroth before the Sundering even happened, right? I think that would be... I would love that. That would be my game, right? Would be a repeat of for Nalves. That's a pretty awesome idea, Akko. I like that. I'm glad you do. If you unmake the universe, there would not be a past to go back to. Well, so this is where we would have to get into what exactly is Zuval reoriginating. Because in my story, Zuval reoriginates all of the timelines. So he basically destroys all of the timelines and brings them back into a single timeline. But this is where the Bronze Dragonflight actually fractures the timeline, right? So the Bronze Dragonflight fractures it and creates a new timeline, a singular new timeline. So that's also how I fix the whole nonsense of multiple timelines where, you know, you jump through time. You can't jump through time anymore. Because Zuval basically created... He basically dominated the main timeline, and we now live in a new timeline, right? And as far as I'm concerned, this puts Zuval as the new big bad. Gov, okay, so I think you missed the beginning of the conversation. People were asking me what I would do if I just got hired as the lead narrative designer for World of Warcraft. So that's where this conversation started. That's what we're talking about. So it doesn't matter what Blizzard wants to do. At this point, what does Blizzard want to do? They want to sell more books, they want to sell more games, and they want to sell more cash shop tokens. That's it. That's what Blizzard wants to do. So we're not talking about what Blizzard wants to do. We're talking about what I would do if I worked for Blizzard. I would, in that sense, I would use that story to redeem Sylvanas, right? So I would use that story to redeem Sylvanas. I would also use that story to set Anduin up as a fucking badass, right? So Anduin gains control over his domination form with the help of Arthas inside Shalamorn, and he fucking, he claps Zuval, right? He's part and partial. Him and Sylvanas leads the charge in saving us. I would bring Malfurion back in a massive way. I want to see Malfurion in the form that we used to know Malfurion. Badass fucking bitch, right? I'll set up the new warriors and heroes of Azeroth in such a way that people actually care about these heroes. And Zuval then, excuse me, Zuval then becomes the ultimate bad guy. Because while Zuval did dominate the whole timeline, he now wants to dominate our timeline, right? Because we managed to fracture a new timeline. So he becomes the ultimate big bad, which we'll at some point have to face down. But this gives me time as the lead narrative designer to write Zuval in such a way that people actually fear the fucker, right? Much to do like Sargeras. But it also allows us to now have Sargeras as a bad guy because we just fractured the timeline, and we do know that the Titans themselves exist through all of the timelines. No, Tyrande will not choose Illidan. Tyrande loves Malfurion. I don't know why you guys want to ship Tyrande and Illidan so badly. I don't know why she loves Malfurion. He sleeps most of the time, but she does love him. So, you know, there is that, sadly. You can't ship Tyrande and Illidan. What are you guys talking about? Maybe she drained him. He will be prepared. Maybe he will be prepared. I don't like reset. Why do we need reset? With good attitude, this game and story can be fixed now without any need to destroy the entire world and reset. I don't agree, Zigzags. I don't agree. I don't see how you fix the story. I genuinely don't. You can try, but I think you'll fail. Should have been from Manila to begin with. Class order holes should never have been gone. Like, they should never have removed the class order holes. I think the class order holes were an amazing opportunity to tell really cool class-specific stories in every new expansion. The class order holes being removed from the game makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Doubt you'd get any powerful male heroes that saves the story. They're in their female-centric phase right now. Gary, and if I'm the lead narrative designer, I would want to have far stronger female characters, but also far stronger male characters. Because I think the two complement each other. I think just having strong female characters, and by the way, Blizzard doesn't do good writing with strong female characters. They either make their female characters way too hated, like Sylvanas, or almost void of any emotional connection, like Tyrande or Jaina. That's the problem with Blizzard's female characters. They seem to think that a strong female character is someone that wants to destroy the world, or someone that doesn't give a fuck about anything but themselves. That's not a strong character, right? That's just a bad fucking character. That's just a stupid character. A strong female character, a strong male character is someone that leads the story and allows other people to actually care about the story, right? And care about their story. And Blizzard doesn't seem to fucking understand what that is all about. Derek, I agree with you. When you look at some of the female characters in World of Warcraft, it's like they're bipolar or some shit. Like, it's insane. These characters go through the weirdest shit, and it's like, that's not how you do it. That's not a strong character. A character that just goes, fuck this, I'll do my own thing. That's not a strong character. You could use a character like that to set up a story, sure, but you can't build a story around such a character. If you want to write a good story, there has to be a fucking story that makes sense and the people can identify with the character. We want to be able to identify. Look at what they tried to do with Jaina. Luckily, they fucking stopped themselves. But they wanted to turn Jaina into a genocidal maniac who destroys all of Orgrimmar, right? They pulled back. Of course, no one fucking stopped them when it came to Sylvanas. But that doesn't make Jaina a strong character. The fact that she wants to destroy all of Orgrimmar doesn't make her a strong character. It just makes her fucking mental. Oh, Lagertha is so fucking cool. Jesus. Lagertha is my second favorite character in Vikings. But that's only because Ragnar Lothbrok has to be your favorite character in Vikings. Zakimi, how you doing? I love the video about Sylvanas. Is she guilty? You were so shiny in those new little things, the titles. Wow, Alex is doing a great job. Alex is really fucking doing amazing work. Absolutely agree. I like Bjorn as well, but bro, Ragnar is fucking insanely cool. The actor that plays Ragnar is fucking perfect. Floki is cool too. Lassia's Babby, I would say it goes deeper than that. It's not just about care for women. It's about... And I hate to say this because this is a contentious issue. And I realize that. And I realize I'm probably going to piss off a lot of people. But this is Hollywood feminism. It's this idea that whatever a man can do, a woman can do better. And it's like... No, whatever a man can do, a woman can do too. We happen to be the same species. And men are going to do things better than women, and women are going to do certain things better than men. If you want to tell good stories, you focus on the strengths that women have, and you focus on the strengths that men have. Right? You don't try to confuse the two. You don't try to write a female character as if she's a guy. That's not feminism. That's basically just trying to turn women into men, which is not what it is. Right? That's not how it works. Write a good female character. A female character that does things that women do very well, fucking well. Look at something like Captain Marvel, right? Look at something like Captain Marvel. It's a mess. Why? Because this character can't die. This character can't do anything wrong. They have no weaknesses. What are you talking about? The thing that makes people relate to characters is weakness. If a character doesn't have weakness, there's no way for me to fucking link up with them. So, and by the way, Digit, I don't think this is a transgender issue. The vast majority of trans people that I have on my channel don't buy into this bullshit. And we have actually quite a few trans viewers on the channel, by the way. They don't buy into this bullshit. Because as far as they're concerned, the whole argument that men and women have like literally no differences is bullshit. Because at that point, what you're saying is that so in other words, you're saying there is no such thing as men and women, but then you're also saying there's no such thing as trans people. Because if there's no such thing as, if there's no difference between men and women, then you can, then it is a choice. You're not born a specific way, then it is just a choice because there's no difference, right? The vast majority of trans people that I know do not buy into that. They know that there's a very clear difference. There's a marked fucking difference between men and women. And again, it comes down to this Hollywood feminism bullshit where they want to pretend there's no differences between men and women. So everything a man can do, a woman can do. And everything a woman can do, a man